Hey everybody, welcome back to All Things Creative. This is Exploded and Compressed, where we explode a coffee and then we compress it and taste it again. Now the reason why we explode the coffee is so that we can taste what is the flavor extraction in a specific period of time during the brewing process, so that we can adjust our brew after the fact and maybe get a better brew afterwards. So that's something we started doing now, is that we first explode it and then we brew it again. And so yeah, follow along and enjoy. Let's make some coffee. Let's go. So we're gonna start brewing now, and we're gonna start with cup number 1. And I'm gonna put in first about 30 grams of water. Let everything get wet. And then go all the way up to 60 grams of liquid. Now our coffee today is from the Prominent Harvest Tasting Pack, not Harvest Tasting Pack, from the Prominent Coffee Tasting Pack we got from their website. And this costs 800 pesos, and this is one of the coffees in there, roasted by Haru at H.Proper Coffee Roasters. This is an Ethiopia Yirgacheffe Haru Suke heirloom variety. Alright, so when it comes up on 50 seconds, we're gonna move it to the next cup and pour another 60 grams. And that's generally the concept here, is that we want to know what flavors come out within those 50 seconds of the brew. And now I'm gonna add another 60 grams, going in that same circle pour pattern. And then get up to 120 here in this case, by pouring in the middle. We're gonna let that draw down, and when this gets to a minute 40, we're gonna move it to the next cup, and so on and so forth. So this is actually my first time to taste one of Haru's coffees. His reputation has preceded him, and I've heard some really good things about their coffee. Based on the chart that's here on the front of the Prominent packaging, this looks like a pretty interesting coffee. I'm trying not to remember what it says though, so that the flavor experience can be more blind, I guess. All right, 1 minute 40, and I'm gonna move it to the next cup, pair the scale, and another 60 ml of water. I always make sure that my kettle is always very full of water, so that the thermal mass is nice and big and the temperature doesn't drop too quickly. All right, so we're coming up on 2 minutes 30 seconds, and we're gonna move to the last cup. And the last 60 ml of liquid will go in here. All right, so as that liquid draws down into the final cup, we're gonna remember to remove the cone at exactly 3 minutes and 20 seconds, because again, this experiment is about understanding water contact with coffee time. So it's important that we stop and we get an accurate reading at that 3 minutes 20 mark, which is now. All right, so these are our 4 coffees. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 50 seconds, the next 50 seconds, 50 seconds, 50 seconds, and 60 grams each. You can actually see that about the same amount of liquid came out in each of them, which is interesting because usually this one is a bit tighter, and then moving throughout the bunch, it increases in volume until the end. All right, so let's take a look at these coffees. This is the first cup. You can see it is quite cloudy and deep and dark. Let's have a sip. Very classic Ethiopia berry flavors on the nose. There is a weird smell of, it's strange. It's when you first walk into a Jollibee, you know that smell? Got that a bit in there. Ooh. High fermentation, very fermented flavor. Strawberries, milky texture as well in that first cup, and then there is some umami savoriness in this first cup, It's still very confusing, which is what you expect in that first cup. And if you've seen a few episodes of Exploded and Compressed, that tends to be the case in cup 1. All right, cup 2. So this coffee, you really do feel it opening up. If you look at the color, this is a bit more of the color that I like in a cup of coffee. It's nice and red. And the sweetness is starting to come in. An acidity, a bite of acidity on this second cup. And intensity for both of these cups are great. Let's see what happens in the third cup. Intensity has dropped significantly. There are now some floral notes, not very distinguishable. It's more like a fruity sugar, not like a refined sugar or not even a raw sugar. It's like the kind of sugar that you get in fruits. And then the last cup. All right, a bit diluted. There's some weird chocolate cacao notes that come in here at the very end of this cup. You can see that compared to some of our other, to the cups here, the dilution is high, but compared to some of our other Exploded brews, this is not that dark, or this is not that light, right? Usually it will be a bit more caramel colored. This is still really nice. Stone fruit here in the end. That's very interesting because we're getting that stone fruit all the way here at the end where it's a lot more diluted when the flavors open up. So in the past, we've used this method to decide, okay, we want to compress the brew process to have it be in that first 2 minutes. And with this explosion, what I'm seeing is that I want to get this and then kind of skip this cup and then go to the end. So I'm going to put, for our next brew, we're going to put this first 120 grams in that first same minute and a half. And then we're going to skip this and then do another 120 grams at around 3 minutes 20, at around 2 minutes 20 seconds. Based on what we've learned here. So we're gonna reset and do that now. All right, and we're back, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna brew on the origami using the information that we got from our first round of brews, from the Exploded round. So the reason why I wanna do this now is because I wanna not just have a flavor experience, but kind of frame our understanding of the Exploded method to be a form of calibration for pour over coffees. And let's brew. So what we said is we're going to do the first 120 ml almost immediately and then take a long break, and then after 2 minutes, that's the only time we're going to end the second 120 ml so that we can try and get that stone fruit flavor out in the very end. So with my first pour, I'm just gonna wet all of the coffee. That same 60 ml should be around the correct amount. And we're gonna let that wet, let everything get wet inside the cup, inside the brewer, I should say. And then we're gonna go all the way up to 120, all the way up to 120 ml. For our first pour. And then again, we're gonna wait. This time I will put the kettle back there to reboil because the amount of water inside is not as much as it was earlier. So we're going to adjust for that thermal mass. But you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but our thermometer on the kettle still says that we are still at 92 degrees. So only 1 degree variance. I'm sure that this is a bit, for those who have ideas of how a coffee should be brewed, seeing this very long pause might irk you a little bit, but trust me, it's gonna taste good. It is definitely gonna taste good. add the next 120 ml of water into this brewer. Takes us all the way up to 240 ml. And then we're just gonna let it draw down. Ideal target time for this will be still be at about 3 minutes 30, but because we didn't get any astringency or bitterness at the end of the brew process on that fourth cup, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're not gonna cut the brew or anything at 330 seconds. We're just gonna let it draw down and see what we get. And then at least that way we have a very accurate representation of our 15:1 ratio of putting in that 16 grams of coffee and putting in 240 ml of liquid. Now again, because of the way we poured our pour over, I'm gonna resist any temptation to tap that brewer. Maybe I'll tap it at the very end. I just wanted to draw down because we got a lot of agitation in just from the way we poured our water. 3 minutes 30 seconds. And I'm just gonna give it a stir. I don't know if you can see the color of the liquid in there. And then I'm gonna split this because Dave is over there. I'm gonna let him drink some of this. And I will drink the other. Okay, so we're seeing this is a very nice color in the coffee. On the nose, sweet, juicy, some more acidity in this cup than in the other ones. Citric, right, kind of like a pomelo. Very juicy coffee. I'm pretty happy with the adjustments that we made. I'm gonna let that cool and we'll taste it again in a minute. In the meantime, let's go try the coffee compressed in the espresso machine. Okay, so this is the espresso. Again, very similar to our Strada pull, pulling it on the decent, and let's give it a sip. Juicy. There's some strange umami flavors in this coffee. A lot more acidic as an espresso compared to pour over. This is a lot more grape stone fruit here in the pour over, and then as an espresso, higher levels of acidity, nice balanced body. The way we pull our espressos, there's not a lot of crema. That's deliberate. I don't really find either one of these to be bitter. That said, I would describe this coffee as safe. So if you want a great sweet cup of coffee, some notes of chocolate, some notes of cacao, juicy berries, this is a good way to go. It's what you expect from an Ethiopia Guji. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing earth-shattering, but reliable, tasty, and juicy. Yeah, so that's it. That's H.Proper roasted by Haru. And according to the chart, it says that it's supposed to be clean, have body, and then berry fruit, stone fruit, chocolate, caramel. Yeah, we got pretty much all of those flavors here. But not what I would describe as a high complexity coffee. I believe you can order online from them, but you definitely can order online from Prominent Manila. I don't know if they still have copies of this tasting pack, but they'll probably have new ones coming along soon because it seems like an idea that people do really like, and you can follow them at Prominent MNL on Instagram and find their website. They delivered this again in one day. It took 3 hours from ordering it on their website to it showing up at our door, which is kind of perfect. And don't forget to comment. Let us know your thoughts if you tasted this coffee. If you're a fan of H.Proper or of Prominent, do let us know. And whenever you leave a comment, make sure that you leave your t-shirt size, because between now and when we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we are giving away t-shirts to people who have commented. 10 t-shirts for every 100 subscribers. And yeah, we'll be launching that. We'll be showing the design next week. You have to be commenting, subscribe, and follow along on Instagram at Keo Kosha and at Honeycomb Manila. And that's mainly so that we can DM you should you win. So make sure that you also check your notifications on YouTube so that you know if we replied to your comment. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much to you guys who watched, and thank you to Prominent and to H.Proper for making some great coffees and some great tasting packs. All right, take care, guys. Enjoy your brews. I wish you good luck. I wish you good health. Peace.